Absolutely suggests that. The pattern is disturbingly clear. National crisis often equals racial scapegoating for this community. And this is precisely why the author we're drawing from, Luo, weaves his own perspective into this recent history.
He's a second-generation Chinese-American journalist, a Pulitzer winner.
Right, so he brings this informed personal lens. He's living through this resurgence of hate, but he understands the deep historical roots it's tapping into.
And his approach to understanding it wasn't just reporting the news. The sources mention his methodology.
Yeah, he went deep. He didn't just read history books, he went back to the archives. He looked at the names on gravestones in forgotten cemeteries, names that told stories of separation and hardship. He sought out descendants of those early immigrants, trying to trace the lineage of this struggle for identity.
Connecting the dots.
Connecting the dots explicitly, linking the pain recorded in those Angel Island poems, the injustice faced by Ah Sin building the railroad, the fear during the exclusion era, directly to the fear and violence experienced by Asian Americans on the streets in the 2020s. His work is like historical forensics, proving that today's hate isn't new. Its roots are in that legislative trauma of the 1880s and everything that followed.
So if we pull all these threads together, from Gumsand to COVID-19, what's the final synthesis? What's the core message about this long struggle?
The synthesis really isn't a neat story of arrival or final victory. It's more a story of perpetual negotiation, of continual definition. The struggle for belonging, as the sources frame it, isn't over, it's ongoing. But the key is that the persistent efforts of each generation, whether it was the quiet resilience of the Chinatown pioneers, the demands of the WWII veterans, the cultural challenges of Anna May Wong, the coalition building of Larry Itliong, the pushback against the model minority myth, or the current fight against renewed hate that is what defines their place in America. The struggle itself becomes the act of belonging.
It raises that question, though, doesn't it? How much struggle is enough? When does the stranger finally feel at home? The source material offers that really powerful concluding line.
It does. It encapsulates the entire journey beautifully. It says, "We have always been strangers in the land, but each generation has written itself closer to home."
Closer to home. Not quite there, maybe, but always moving, always striving. It's a message of incredibly hard-won, incremental progress, fought for literally inch by inch over centuries. #tag outro. Wow, that quote really does capture what a journey we've traced today, from that initial dream of Gold Mountain
Gumsand, yeah,
to the absolute nightmare of the Exclusion Act, surviving Angel Island, the desperation of the Paper Sun system, then the shift with World War II, the slow crawl towards rights, grappling with the complexities of the model minority myth.
right up to confronting the echoes of that oldest hate in our most recent crisis.
So if listeners take one thing away from this deep dive, what should it be? What's the key application of understanding this history?
I think the most crucial takeaway is recognizing that historical prejudice, especially state-sanctioned prejudice like the Exclusion Act, it doesn't just vanish. It goes dormant, maybe, but it doesn't die.
It can be reactivated.
Instantly. During times of national stress, fear, or crisis, whether it was economic panic in the 1880s, Cold War paranoia, or a pandemic in the 2020s, those old frameworks of fear and exclusion targeting this community resurface with terrifying speed. Understanding that pattern, that clear historical cause and effect, is absolutely vital if we want to prevent it from happening again.
That makes sense. The trauma isn't just history, it's a recurring vulnerability. The sources show how the Chinese American community has constantly fought, constantly written itself closer to home.
Oh.
But maybe we can leave our listeners with one final thought, a question that comes directly out of this material.
Okay.
Given these clear cycles, the 1880s backlash finding such a strong echo in the 2020s hate surge, what needs to change fundamentally? Beyond the incredible resilience within the community itself, what systemic shifts are necessary for future generations to finally feel truly at home, not just perpetually moving closer to it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It touches on everything. Politics, education, media representation, how we confront our own history. A lot to think about.
Indeed. Well, thank you for guiding us through that incredibly rich and challenging history.
Thank you. It was important to cover.
And thank you all for joining us on The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.